crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrollers. Crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrollers April 21st, 2025 edition. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts. Global Top Songs April 11th to April 17th, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
APT, Rosé y Bruno Mars. El mayor de los ranas, Víctor Valverde y J.R. Torres.
Passo Bem Solto, Slovid, Atos. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, April 11th to Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish. Ordinary, Alex Warren.
APT, Rosé, Bruno Mars.
Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers, from April 21st, 2025. Minecraft, Hades.
NBA225.
Overcooked. 2. Steam's hottest games. Global top-selling and top-played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue list, for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 to Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Counter-Strike 2. Schedule 1. Marvel Rivals. PUBG Battlegrounds. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA releases guidance on credential risks associated with potential legacy Oracle Cloud compromise. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Microsoft's BitNet B1.58-2B4T, BitNet B1.58-2B4T, the first open-source, native 1-bit large language model, LLM, at the 2 billion parameter scale, developed by Microsoft Research. Trained on a corpus of 4 trillion tokens, this model demonstrates that native 1-bit LLMs can achieve performance comparable to leading open-weight, full-precision models of similar size, while offering substantial advantages in computational efficiency, memory, energy latency. Major rice producers have world's worst heavy metal pollution, Chinese scientists warn, and climate change will make rice toxic, say researchers. Toothpaste widely contaminated with lead and other metals, U.S. research finds. Project to suck carbon out of sea begins in UK. China establishes world's first 3-satellite constellation in the Earth-Moon region of space. Chinese robots ran against humans in the world's first humanoid half-marathon. They lost by a mile. China develops powerful non-nuclear hydrogen explosive with military potential for precision thermal strikes. Ukraine bans China's firms for helping Russia make missiles. China denies Zelensky's charge that it provides Russia with weapons. 1 day ago, China is supplying weapons to Russia, Zelensky says. Trump administration ready to recognize Russian control of Crimea as part of framework to end Ukraine war. Source says, as U.S. offers to ease sanctions on Russia in Ukraine peace proposal. Trump White House replaces COVID website with treatise on lab leak theory. AOC instructs staff to sideline all new transgender discrimination cases, employees say. Trump officials blame mistake for setting off confrontation with Harvard, as Wall Street Journal reports that Trump administration irate at Harvard plans to pull additional $1 billion in funding. Sam Altman admits that saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is wasting millions of dollars in computing power, and OpenAI's new reasoning AI models hallucinate more. 3 days ago, OpenAI unveils technology that can reason with images. Gen AI investment can spur co-working potential in financial industry, Moody's says. Wikipedia is giving AI developers its data to fend off bot scrapers. Anti-spying phone pouches offered to EU lawmakers for trip to Hungary. Texas House approves creation of new state cybersecurity command at UTSA. Phishers abuse Google OAuth to spoof Google in DKIM replay attack. DHL to suspend global shipments of over $800 to U.S. consumers. Ford halts shipments of vehicles to China amid tariffs. SCMP comments as, U.S. tariff threats open door to a Make in India moment. 1 month ago, Reuters reported as, India eyes tariff cut on more than half of U.S. imports to shield its exports, sources say. Massive 366% chip shipment surge to Malaysia amid increased NVIDIA AI GPU smuggling curbs, ahead of looming sectoral tariffs. U.S. chipmakers fear they are ceding China's AI market to Huawei. Huawei introduces the Ascend 920 AI chip to fill the void left by NVIDIA's H20. China to host Indonesia for top-level diplomacy. Defense talks and pivot to Southeast Asia. Resist protectionism. China Xi tells Cambodia as Phnom Penh seeks loans. As China's leader ends Southeast Asia tour touting Beijing's reliability versus U.S. tariff threats. China's PLA invited to Vietnam military parade, as both sides pledge closer defense ties. Vietnam PM hails unique bond with U.S. days after hosting Xi. Israeli researchers use gene editing to eliminate 50% of head, neck tumors in mice. New water microcleaners self-disperse, capture microplastics and float up for removal. Menstrual cycles don't affect women's cognitive abilities, study finds. Tesla Cybertruck is in crisis. New discounts and throttling down production. Subaru is bringing back physical knobs and buttons in its cars. In the U.S., Sam's Club axes self-checkouts nationwide. Add Scan and Go. As Sam's Club's 600 location remodel will eliminate cashiers. Nepal's parliamentary subpanel finds billions of rupees embezzled during construction of China-funded Pokhara International Airport. Bybit CEO says nearly 28% of $1.4 billion hacked crypto gone dark. Move to P2P and OTC. Oregon targets Coinbase after SEC drops its federal lawsuit. Iran seeks guarantees U.S. won't leave nuclear pact again. U.S. anti-ship missiles deployed to Philippine Islands south of Taiwan for first time. China vows to hit back at U.S. new discriminatory port fees. 2 days ago, United States eases port fees on China-built ships after industry backlash. Carbonates identified by the Curiosity rover indicate a carbon cycle operated on ancient Mars. As Curiosity rover finds large carbon deposits on Mars. Scientists stumble across rare evidence that Earth is peeling underneath the Sierra Nevada. Skin injury may bring on food allergies, as skin damage signals mediate allergic sensitization to spatially unlinked antigen. Indian students rethink U.S. plans. Education loan firms panic as inquiries drop by 50%. In the U.S., over 9 million student loan borrowers past due after bills restarted, Fed estimates. Teen Vogue comments as FSU shooter shows radicalized white men are the threats to college campuses, not student protesters. 3 days ago it has been reported as in Florida state shooting. 2 dead, sheriff's deputy's son in custody. Pakistani authorities arrest over 170 for anti-U.S., anti-Israel attacks on KFC stores. Sex tourists flock to Japan's red light area. Lured by weak yen social media videos. Colombia declares health emergency after dozens die of yellow fever. China sanctions U.S. Congress members, officials and others who behaved badly on Hong Kong. Boeing begins flying back planes refused by Chinese airlines, and China halted orders for U.S. soybeans and corn before tariff escalation. China vows retaliation against countries that follow U.S. calls to isolate Beijing. It has been commented as, in the U.S., Christmas is in the crosshairs as toy industry faces brunt of China tariffs. Wall Street Journal reports that EU delayed punishing Apple, Meta just before trade talks started. Carney pledges tax cuts, defense spending in Canada election platform. El Salvador's president offers Maduro U.S.-deported Venezuelans for prisoner swap. Border crossings grind to halt as Trump's tough policies take hold. New York Times comments as the Trump administration is disappearing people like the Soviet Union. Washington Post comments as Trump claims unfettered presidential power on immigration. Wired reports that DOJ is building a master database to surveil and track immigrants. Trump administration orders Gaza-linked social media vetting for visa applicants. Hegseth said to have shared attack details in Second Signal chat. Former Pentagon official warns department's dysfunction could topple Hegseth. And 3 Hegseth aides ousted in leak investigation decry baseless attacks. Rubio denies that Trump will politicize the Foreign Service and slash embassies. Recently, Trump reportedly drafted an executive order for a disciplined reorganization of the State Department that would shut down embassies and cut climate change and refugee offices. The Guardian comments as RFK's statements prove autistic people and their families everywhere should fear Trump and his allies. 5 days ago, Kennedy calls autism preventable, drawing ire from researchers. Ted Sarandos responds to James Cameron's vision of AI making movies cheaper. There's an even bigger opportunity to make movies 10% better. Netflix sees potential for video podcasts, more creator content on platform. Number of UK consumers streaming sports illegally has gone through the roof, police say. Pope Francis has died, Vatican says in video statement, and Syria postpones games after Pope Francis dies aged 88. Doge visits National Gallery of Art to discuss museum's legal status. Trump is replacing the acting IRS commissioner, part of a dispute between Treasury and Elon Musk. California announces plans to relax protections for wolves as population grows. Billionaire collector Thomas Kaplan to sell Rembrandt lion drawing to raise funds for wildlife conservation. Seagate claims hard drives are more environmentally friendly than SSDs.
Crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with NewsSource Scrawlers April 18, 2025 edition. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts, Global Top Songs April 4 to April 10, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT, Rose and Bruno Mars. El Mayor de los Ranas, Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. AAJ Kirat, Madhubanti Bagchi, Divya Kumar and Sachin. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, April 4 to Thursday, April 10, 2025. Die with a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather. Billie Eilish. Ordinary, Alex Warren. APT, Rose, Bruno Mars. Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers, from April 14, 2025. Minecraft. Hades. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Stardew Valley. Steam's Hottest Games. Global top-selling and top-played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue list, for Tuesday, April 1, 2025 to Tuesday, April 8, 2025. Counter-Strike 2. Schedule 1. REPO and ZOI. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. Fortinet releases advisory on new post-exploitation technique for known vulnerabilities. Ivanti releases security updates for Connect Secure, Policy Secure and ZTA Gateways vulnerability, CVE 2025-22457. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Moon Shotai's Kimi VLA3B Thinking, an efficient open-source mixture of experts, MO, Vision Language Model, VLM, that offers advanced multimodal reasoning, long context understanding, and strong agent capabilities, all while activating only 2.8B parameters in its language decoder. It effectively competes with cutting-edge efficient VLMs such as GPT-4o Mini, Qwen 2.5 VL7B, and Gemma 3-12B IT, while surpassing GPT-4o in several specialized domains. Hamas ready to release all remaining hostages for end to war, group's Gaza chief says. Wall Street Journal reports that a depleted Hamas is so low on cash that it can't pay its fighters. Portrait of Palestinian boy who lost both arms is World Press Photo of the Year for 2025. Tech War, Nvidia CEO Huang says China a key market on Beijing visit, as US bans AI chips. AMD expects $800 million charge due to US license requirement for AI chips. US House panel probes whether DeepSeek used restricted Nvidia chips. Huawei unveils upgraded AI-powered smart eyewear to compete in crowded market. Microsoft Research announces BitNet B1, 1-bit LLM trained on a corpus of 4 trillion tokens which can achieve performance comparable to leading open-weight, full-precision models, and doesn't require GPUs to run. Meta blocks Apple Intelligence on Facebook and its other iOS apps. Reportedly, Meta asked Amazon, Microsoft to help fund Llama. Tencent offers 28,000 internships as China grapples with youth unemployment. In India, tariff overhang, IG companies slash hiring mandates, demand drops by 1/5 in Q4 of FY25. In the US, South Dakota leaders back Rasner Media's TikTok deal, urge Trump administration support. Trump says minerals deal with Ukraine to be signed in 1 week. Russia lifts ban on Taliban amid growing ties with the group. US will abandon Ukraine peace push if no progress within a matter of days, Rubio says. Axios comments as, Putin tests Trump's patience by slow-walking ceasefire talks. US judge finds Google holds illegal online ad tech monopolies. Musk's Starlink snaps up market share in Nigeria amid African push. China to crack down on EV self-driving technology, autonomous driving claims, as China bans smart and autonomous driving terms from vehicle ads. South Korea's new visa to resolve labor shortage faces backlash. Japan's inflation quickens as rice prices gain most in 50 years. Malaysia's Anwar meets Myanmar junta leader in week of tricky diplomacy. China's container bookings to plunge up to 60% as U.S. tariffs wipe out trade, report. Temu slashes U.S. ad spending, plummets in App Store rankings after Trump-China tariffs. Hong Kong banks to see biggest rise in bad loans in Asia-Pacific due to U.S. tariffs, Fitch. AI-generated music accounts for 18% of all tracks uploaded to Deezer. Google used AI to suspend over 39 ad accounts suspected of fraud. In the U.S., it has been commented as bot students continue to flood in, community colleges struggle to respond. Immigrant founders are the norm in key U.S. AI firms, study. In the U.S., DHS threatens to revoke Harvard's eligibility to host international students unless it turns over disciplinary records. Global financial institutions make progress in gender balance amid anti-DEI steps, report. Trump tariffs to not growth but won't cause global recession, says IMF, and Fed Chair Powell sounds alarm on tariffs, sending stocks lower. Trump lashes out at Fed Chair for not cutting rates. Joe Rogan, Dave Portnoy among Trump backers now questioning his tariff policies. Americans' dislike for China softens, Pew survey shows. Sunscreen, clothes and caves may have helped Homo sapiens survive 41,000 years ago. Webb discovers methane, carbon dioxide in atmosphere of K2-18b. Harvard's RoboBee achieves stable landing technique for crop pollination. Fake blood vessels mean lab-grown chicken can now be nugget-sized. 3 U.S. tick species may cause a mysterious red meat allergy. Massive circular tomb filled with battle-scarred people unearthed in Peru. In the U.S., FDA making plans to end its routine food safety inspections, sources say. WHO members agree first global pandemic treaty. Reuters reports that U.S. Consumer Safety Agency to stop collecting swaths of data after CDC cuts. In the U.S., Treasury targets International Bank of Yemen for support to the Houthis with a sanction. U.S. says Chinese satellite firm is supporting Houthi attacks on U.S. interests, and U.S. issues new sanctions targeting Chinese importers of Iranian oil. Trump administration announces fees on Chinese ships docking at U.S. ports, and trade war fallout. Cancellations of Chinese freight ships begin as bookings plummet. Discord is verifying some users' age with ID and facial scans, and in the US, NJ sues messaging app Discord for alleged youth endangerment. TikTok is getting its own version of community notes. Liz Truss to launch her own uncensorable social media platform. Vladimir Putin lauds Elon Musk as rare pioneer. Musk linked SpaceX as frontrunner for Trump's $10 billion Golden Dome shield as Pentagon mulls subscription-based tech. Q-Control unveils jam-proof quantum tech that's 50 times more accurate than GPS. Macron announces creation of joint commission to examine Haiti's independence debt to France. Turkey detains 525 suspects in country's biggest anti-drugs operation, minister says. Reportedly, AI personas may be undercover police, engaging with suspects online through social media and text. It has been commented as, Bernie Sanders spent $221,000 on private jets amid fighting oligarchy tour. New York Post comments as, Joe Biden having trouble booking gigs with $300,000 per speech asking price. George Clooney says there should have been a Democratic primary after Biden dropped out. Washington Post reports that Trump's D.C. U.S. attorney pick appeared on Russian state media over 150 times. Russia-linked Pravda network cited on Wikipedia, LLMs, and X. Ukraine has evidence of China supplying Russia with weapons, Zelensky says. Global payments to acquire WorldPay for $24.25 billion, divest Issuer Solutions Unit. ABB plans to spin off its robotics division as a separately listed company. OpenAI in talks to buy Windsurf for about $3 billion. Trump and Meloni talk up chances of U.S. trade deal with Europe. Trump says U.S. and China are in trade talks and is confident a deal will be reached soon, and Trump says 100% confident of U.S. trade deal with EU. Newsom announces lawsuit against Trump's tariffs as California stands to lose billions. Indonesia to propose $10 billion U.S. energy imports increase in tariff talks. Trump admin halts $5 billion New York offshore wind project mid-build. Trump signs memo barring undocumented immigrants from receiving Social Security benefits. Former Pentagon spokesman tied to online DEI purge was asked to resign, official says. CFPB to cut financial firm supervision, curb fintech focus, as nearly 90% of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau cut as Trump's government downsizing continues. Trump administration wants new headquarters for the Housing and Urban Development Department, and HUD building put up for sale as Trump looks to unload properties. U.S. State Department closing office aimed at countering foreign disinformation. Chrome extensions with 6 million installs have hidden tracking code. Wikipedia is giving AI developers its data to fend off bot scrapers. Hacking group Anonymous claims massive cyber attack on Russia, releases 10 terabytes leaked data. South Korean content overtakes UK in global Netflix viewership. Nickelodeon unveils Kid Cowboy animated YouTube series. Paramount Plus expands footprint in Japan through partnership with local streamer Lemino. U.S. digital ad spend climbed to $259 billion in 2024. In France, Ligue 1 faces financial crisis as talks between clubs and DAZN over TV deal break down. Fire Festival 2 is postponed, no new date set. Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy's Star Wars film officially titled Star Wars: Starfighter, sets May 2027 theatrical release. Glenn Powell to co-write, star in Judd Apatow comedy about country western star. Star Wars Darth Maul animated series coming to Disney Plus next year, with Sam Witwer voicing villain. U.S. citizen held by ICE despite judge seeing birth certificate. U.S. immigrants, H-1B, green card holders must carry ID 24/7 or face jail. ICE just paid Palantir tens of millions for complete target analysis of known populations. In the U.S., prominent ultra-processed food researcher leaves NIH, alleges censorship. Nearly 300 apply as French university offers U.S. academics scientific asylum. Destroying endangered species habitat wouldn't count as harm under proposed Trump rule. China accuses U.S. of interfering in its Latin America ties. India trade deficit with China widens to record $99.2 billion amid dumping concerns. YouTube was pledged immunity from Australia's social media ban. Polish president backs push for access to French nuclear shield. Australian Prime Minister says he trusts Trump and Xi during debate with election rival. Ivory Coast opposition names Tidjane Thiam as the presidential candidate, as ex-banker Thiam drops French nationality in bid for Ivory Coast presidency. Trump rolls back regulations aimed at curbing arsenic and mercury pollution. About 15% of world's cropland polluted with toxic metals, say researchers. Japan makes it easier for hunters to shoot bears as attacks surge. Variety reports that Pacific Rim TV series from legendary Eric Heiserer lands at Amazon for development. Wendy's says it has a ton of respect for Katy Perry after posting "Can we send her back to space?" Fast food chain stopped short of apologizing. Trump appoints Fox News host Mark Levin to Homeland Security Advisory Council.
Crypto, politics, tech, and more. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's April 16, 2025 edition. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs April 4th to April 10th, 2025. Die with a Smile. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
APT, Rosé et Bruno Mars. El mayor de los ranas, Víctor Valverde y J.R. Torres. AJ Kiraat, Madhubanti Bagchi, Divya Kumar Sachin.
Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global. From the Friday, April 4th to Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Die with a Smile. Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. Birds of a Feather. Billie Eilish. Ordinary. Alex Warren.
APT, Rosé, Bruno Mars.
Nintendo US Digital Bestsellers, from April 14th, 2025. Minecraft. Hades. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Stardew Valley. Steam's hottest games. Global top-selling and top-played games across Steam. From the top 100 products by revenue list, for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 to Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Counter-Strike 2. Schedule 1.
RPO in ZOI.
CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. Fortinet releases advisory on new post-exploitation technique for known vulnerabilities. Ivanti releases security updates for Connect Secure, Policy Secure and ZTA Gateways vulnerability, CV 2025-22457. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Moon Showtai's Kimil3B Thinking, an efficient open-source mixture of experts, Vision Language Model VLM, that offers advanced multimodal reasoning, long context understanding, and strong agent capabilities, all while activating only 2.8B parameters in its language decoder. It effectively competes with cutting-edge efficient VLMs such as GPT-4o Mini, Qwen 2.5 VL7B, and Gemma 3-12 BIT, while surpassing GPT-4o in several specialized domains. Harvard refuses to negotiate with Trump over its independence, as Harvard says it will fight Trump administration demands. Trump threatens Harvard's tax-exempt status after freezing $2 billion funding. Columbia vows to reject any Trump deal that erodes its independence. Cornell sues DOE for unlawful cuts to indirect costs for research grants. Shocked by earthquake, zoo elephants form alert circle to protect their young at San Diego Zoo. A century after its discovery, scientists capture first confirmed footage of a colossal squid in the deep. Older people who use smartphones have lower rates of cognitive decline. Overuse of CT scans could result in 100,000 preventable cancer cases in the USA. China, Vietnam sign deals as she visits Hanoi amid U.S. tariff tensions, and Trump says China's talks with Vietnam are probably intended to screw U.S. China Xi Malaysia's Anwar meet for closed-door talks as Beijing courts neighbors. China appoints new trade representative as U.S. tariff war heats up. UK's top court says woman refers to someone born biologically female. Librarians in UK increasingly asked to remove books, as influence of U.S. pressure groups spreads. UK report says outdated laws hampered fight against misinformation during anti-immigrant violence. EU issues US-bound staff with burner phones over spying fears. Taiwan's ruling party expels former assistant of foreign minister over alleged Chinese espionage ties. Reuters reports that top Hexeth advisor Dan Caldwell put on leave in Pentagon leak probe. Insurance firm Lemonade says API glitch exposed some driver's license numbers. Hertz says customers' personal data and driver's licenses stolen in data breach. Chinese robot Axis have government black boxes, approach U.S. quality. China accuses U.S. of launching advanced cyber attacks, names alleged NSA agents. The CVE program for tracking security flaws is about to lose federal funding, and cybersecurity world on edge as CVE program prepares to go dark. White House to ask Congress to cut $9 billion in funds, including for NPR, PBS, USAID. In the U.S., autism rates have risen to 1 in 31 school-age children, CDC reports. Japan sees record population drop in 2024 as financial security trumps marriage. European Commission authorizes Leqembi medicine for treatment of early Alzheimer's disease. A Palestinian activist expecting a U.S. citizenship interview is arrested instead by ICE in Vermont. Hamas rejects Israeli ceasefire disarmament proposal, Palestinian official says, and Israeli defense minister says troops will remain in Gaza, Lebanon and Syria indefinitely. Crackdown on pro-Palestinian content. Meta deletes over 90,000 posts at Israel's requests. OpenAI considering its own social network to compete with Elon Musk's X. Counterpoint reports that global smartphone market grows 3% in Q1 2025 but future uncertain. Apple takes number 1 spot in Q1 for first time. India targets 300 million new users for UPI payments platform. Vatican puts God's architect Antoni Gaudi on path to sainthood. Peruvian court sentences former President Hamala and wife to 15 years for money laundering. France expels 12 Algerian officials as row over alleged kidnapping escalates. 2 days ago, Algeria to expel 12 French embassy officials. Previously, Algeria summons ambassador after France indicts consular official in dissident's abduction. Crypto exchange OKX relaunches in US 2 months after settling with DOJ for $500 million. Kraken unveils phased rollout for US stocks and ETF trading. Shares plans for UK and European expansion. KuCoin MEXC and 12 crypto exchanges Apple apps blocked in South Korea. Reuters reports that US tariffs may cost chip equipment makers more than $1 billion, industry estimates. Nikkei reports that Trump chip tariff threat throws wrench into global supply network. Extreme US-China decoupling could cost $2.5 trillion in equity, bond sell-off. Goldman. FT reports that top Donald Trump official tells Europe to choose between US or Chinese communications tech. Google search will soon use one domain for all users worldwide. Apple rebrands search ads business as Apple Ads. Reportedly, global ad spend against news down by a third since pre-COVID. Figma confidentially files for much-awaited U.S. IPO after $20 billion Adobe deal collapse. Wall Street Journal reports that Netflix aims to join the $1 trillion club. China AI unicorn Zhipuai's IPO filing this year after DeepSeek's success. Elite Pentagon unit resigns en masse after clashing with Doge. Washington Post report that Doge is collecting federal data to remove immigrants from housing jobs. The Atlantic comments as Doge is making the IRS a tip jar for public services, and IRS could cut up to 40% of workforce. Memo indicates Musk's Doge may have caused significant cyber breach at U.S. labor watchdog. Japan orders Google to stop forcing phone makers to use apps. New Android feature forces auto restart if phone remains locked for 3 days. Google DeepMind is hiring a post-AGI research scientist. 4chan is down following what looks to be a major hack spurred by meme war. 4 arrested in Japan over sales of AI-generated porn in first such case. Millions in gold, jewels stolen by burglars who tunneled into downtown LA jewelers. Hit by Trump's tariffs, China's chip traders decry no point in working as orders tank. Your capital is safe in Hong Kong. Financial Secretary reassures family offices. China's D-Gate e-commerce app rises in U.S. App Store rankings amid Trump tariffs. Reportedly, Temu pulls its U.S. Google shopping ads. Climate crisis has tripled length of deadly ocean heat waves. Study finds. Iraq sandstorm closes airports, puts 3,700 people in hospital. Sudan. EU and UK pledge millions in aid at London conference. Piracy incidents spike nearly 35% in Q1 drive by Singapore Strait. French prisons targeted in terrorist attack amid drug crackdown, minister says. New York City Council sues Mayor Adams over plan to have ICE officers on Rikers Island. Apple ramps up India, Vietnam production as tariff safe harbors, and Trump confirms he reduced tariffs to help Tim Cook. EU expects U.S. tariffs to stay as talks make little progress. U.S. says most tomatoes imported from Mexico to face 21% duty from July 14. Meta says it will resume AI training with public content from European users. NVIDIA to manufacture American-made AI supercomputers in U.S. for first time. Apple to analyze user data on devices to bolster AI technology. Michael Wolff suggests Trump team floated a Don Jr. outdoors show as a way for Warners to curry favor with White House. Home Alone 2 director wants Trump's cameo removed. I just wish it was gone. If I cut it, I'll probably be sent out of the country. Trump says CBS should lose license after 60-minute segments on Ukraine, Greenland, as Donald Trump again lashes out at CBS in 60 Minutes and urges FCC chair to impose the maximum fines and punishment, and White House moves to limit Newswire access after AP lawsuit win. Hong Kong's postal service to stop shipping goods bound for the U.S. due to bullying acts. China orders its airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jets, report says. Trump aide Hassett says U.S. got amazing tariff deal offers. Recession 100% not happening. Wall Street Journal reports that U.S. plans to use tariff negotiations to isolate China. Philippines warns $5.6 billion U.S. fighter jet deal at risk from Trump's tariffs. Bloomberg comments as U.S. economy to lose billions as foreign tourists stay away. PwC shuts operations in 9 African countries. LA location shoots dropped by 22% in Q1 2025 amid fires, but impact on local filming levels appears to have been temporary. Hermes overtakes LVMH to become the world's most valuable luxury company. Homegrowns are next. Trump tells El Salvador president to build more jails for U.S. citizens. President of El Salvador says he won't return mistakenly deported man to U.S. 2 months ago, Trump puts a freeze on new civil rights cases and settlements, worrying advocates. NBC reports as in the U.S. government's case against Mahmoud Khalil is reliant on tabloid accounts, review of evidence shows. Maldives bars travelers with Israeli passports over Gaza war. Israeli strike hits Gaza hospital 2 days after last major functioning health facility knocked out of service. Hamas says lost contact with captors of Israeli-American hostage key to Gaza truce proposal. FT reports that Germany willing to send Taurus missiles to Ukraine, says Friedrich Merz, and Trump blames Biden and Zelensky for failing to prevent war in Ukraine. J.D. Vance says good chance of a UK-US trade deal, and J.D. Vance. Europe can't be a permanent security vassal of the U.S. NATO buys Palantir AI warfighting Maven software system.